Our World is Relative by Julia Sui. Something that seems big can also seem small. It can seem like it's not moving at all. And be moving very fast, too. It can be moving forward or backward, depending on how you look at it. A few steps can be just a few feet. Or they can take you tens of thousands of miles. We can't see it, but light is moving. And in the near emptiness of outer space, light moves at a constant speed. Size, speed, weight, direction, distance. We think of space and time as fixed and measurable. But these measurements, our experience of space and time, are relative. Our world is relative. What is big? What is small? What is moving? What is not? What is fast? What is slow? It can seem like we live in a world where things are what they are. Right is right and left is left. A ruler is 12 inches. A minute is 60 seconds. But our world is relative. Almost everything exists in relation to something else. A ruler moving through deep space is shorter. My right can be your left. Your right can be my left. A clock moving in deep space ticks more slowly.
Before Albert Einstein, physicists and mathematicians thought of the universe as fixed and measurable. But Einstein's theory of special relativity changed our understanding of how space, time, matter, and energy interact. You may have heard of the famous equation E equals mc squared. What this equation means is that matter and energy are interchangeable. One can be converted into the other. And the speed of light is always constant, never changing. Einstein's theory of general relativity goes further to show that gravity is not just something that attracts objects to each other. Instead, it is a warping or stretching of space and time. Some physicists and mathematicians devote their entire careers to exploring the theory of general relativity. They perform experiments to test and study Einstein's equations in the real world. And believe it or not, one of the most fun ways to model those equations is by playing with soap bubbles.
Let's prepare a bubble solution. If you're using a STEAM kit from the Coos Bay Public Library, simply follow the directions on the bubble concentrate packet. Or if you're making this project without a STEAM kit, you can use regular bubble solution from the store, or make your own using dish soap. Be sure to have some paper towels on hand. This might get messy. Grab some 24 gauge wire, and we'll make a bubble wand. Cut about an 8-inch section of the wire, form a loop, and twist the ends together. This wire is thin enough to twist with just your fingers, but pliers are helpful. Dip the wire circle into the bubble solution. The bubble solution has a high surface tension, so it wants to hold together. It sticks to every part of the wire, forming a film. The wire acts as a boundary, and the soap film has a problem. How can it connect all the points along the edge of the boundary while maintaining the least amount of energy possible? The solution to the problem is called a minimal construction. With a flat circle, the minimal construction is a simple flat plane. But if you distort the plane by blowing on it, the answer becomes a little trickier. You're adding pressure, and the soap film stretches out to accommodate the pressure, still using the least amount of energy possible, creating high points and low points in the soap film. When you stop blowing, the soap film bounces back, sort of like a rubber band. Let's create another minimal construction. Cut another 8-inch piece of wire and make another circle, the exact size as the first. Use something round, like a bottle, to stretch them into a perfectly round shape. Using both wands, we'll change the boundary of our minimal construction. Now the soap film has to connect every point along the first circle to every other point along the second circle, still using the least amount of energy possible. What do you think the minimal construction will be as you pull the two wands apart? Are you surprised by the result? You might be thinking that when you stretch the wands apart, the way for the soap film to fill up the space with the least amount of energy should be a cylinder. But instead, the cylinder squeezes in the middle, forming a shape called a catenoid. So why did it form this shape? There are mathematical equations to explain minimal constructions. And the structure of these equations is very similar to Einstein's equations in his general theory of relativity. But here's a simple way to understand the math of minimal constructions. Imagine that you were an ant, and you wanted to cross from one point on the boundary to the other side. The fastest and shortest way to get there would be to travel in a straight line from one point to the other. And this is the same, no matter where the ant is on the flat circle or what point he's trying to reach. But now let's change the boundary into a three-dimensional shape. Take one of the circles and form it over something round, like a bottle. Now the shape is no longer flat, it's three-dimensional. It has low points and high points along the boundary. Imagine you are that little ant again, wanting to get to the other side. Let's say you're going to build a road. The quickest, most efficient road to build between any 2 points would still be a straight line. But let's say you want to build 2 roads to cross in 2 different places. You want to build them using the least amount of energy possible. And the roads need to connect. The path of the second road actually influences the path of the first road. It makes it dip down a little bit at the point where the 2 paths cross. Now the ant can travel to any point along these paths using the least amount of energy possible. Now imagine that the ant wants to build a path from every point along the boundary to every other point, and that all of the paths have to cross ways. Each path has to influence every other path. The energy used to travel along each path averages out, giving you a minimal construction. So, what would the minimal construction of this boundary look like? You could calculate the answer mathematically, but soap film will give you the answer instantly. This minimal construction is a hyperbolic paraboloid. If you're thinking this shape looks like a Pringles chip, you're exactly right. The engineers who designed the manufacturing of Pringles chips use the hyperbolic paraboloid to give the chips the maximum crunch possible. The hyperbolic paraboloid and the catenoid are just a few of the many minimal structures you can create with soap film. It turns out that no matter what shape you create with the wire, as long as the ends meet, creating a closed boundary, the soap film will always give you the minimal construction solution. So get creative with your wire frame and see what minimal constructions you can come up with. Or try out a few of these minimal shapes. Take a long piece of wire and wrap it round and round something cylindrical to make a spiral shape. Slide it over something straight and attach it at the top and bottom. I used a wire, but a straw would probably work a lot better. This minimal construction shape is called a helicoid. We've done some curvy shapes. Now let's do some straight-edged shapes. Let's construct a pyramid out of the wire frame. Cut 6 4-inch sections of wire. Twist 3 of them together about a 1/2 inch from the top. Use some pliers to make sure they're tightly joined. Spread them out to form the top of the pyramid. Now let's form the base. Take 2 more wire sections and attach them to one leg of the pyramid. Twist them into place. Now you have sort of a tent shape with 2 wires hanging down on either side. Pinch the 2 wires together on one side to form a triangle and join it with the remaining loose wire. Add in the loose wire and tighten them all together. Now you have what looks like a triangle with 3 wires sticking up. Join them together at the top and tighten them down to create the pyramid. So, what do you think the minimal construction of this wire pyramid will be? Remember, the soap film has to join each point along the 6 wires using the least amount of energy possible. The solution is 6 flat planes that meet at a center point. Is this the solution you were expecting? Let's try a cube next. This time, cut 12 4-inch sections of wire. It's easiest to start off by making 4 groups of 3 wires. Take 3 wires and twist them together at the top. Do the same thing for the remaining groups of 3 wires. This will give you the 4 corners of your cube. Take 3 of the corners and join them together using 1 wire leg from each. When it's tightened down, straighten out the wires until you can see the cube shape starting to form. Add in the last corner, joining the loose wires in groups of 3, forming the cube shape. Dip it in the bubble solution and get ready to be amazed. The minimal construction for this cube boundary consists of 13 flat planes, and at the very center is a tiny square. Notice the changes the bubble structure goes through as it forms, collapses, and reforms. Studying the way these soap film models collapse from one stable state to the next can help physicists and mathematicians gain valuable knowledge about Einstein's equations in the real world. When a soap film collapses down to a single point, it models something called a singularity. Einstein's equations allow for singularities in space-time, which explains why particles traveling at a consistent speed in a straight path can suddenly pop out of existence, or why huge stars can collapse on themselves down to a single point and form a black hole with a singularity in the center. Of course, it's a little bit difficult to observe something like a black hole up close. But soap films are a great way for scientists of any age to experience the weird and wonderful physics of the world around us.
For more information about receiving STEAM kits, visit the Kids and Families page at coosbaylibrary.org.